taken from my village and forced into prostitution at age 12. When my mother died, my aunt took me to the city and sold me to a brothel.
My husband was killed during the war. I was left to care for my 5 children alone. I have no way to get money. My children are hungry. I have no hope.
Both of my parents died from AIDS, and there's no one left to care for me. I am age 8 and alone.
Hungry.
No hope.
Alone.
In a world where we face so many needs on such a massive scale, it's incumbent on each of us to say, where can we have the greatest impact as we invest our lives?
One agency cannot do everything, so it's important to decide how World Hope can be most effective.
Strategic planning is thinking where we are now, where we want to be.
We just want to have a long-term vision, and that's why I'm really excited about the 2012 plan.
The 2012 plan is a challenging, demanding vision to take 3 core programs of World Hope and grow them to meet critically identified needs.
There's been a lot of thought and prayer put in to where we are as an organization.
And we've identified where World Hope has experience and expertise and a proven track record. The 3 areas are microfinance, the Community Orphan Trust program, and anti-trafficking work.
Those areas where we have talented staff, they know the issues, they know how to deal with the problems.
The 2012 plan is just a way of focusing our attention on where are we now with these issues and where are we going to be in 6 years.
And one of the questions that constantly arises, why do this? Well, as believers, the scriptures are filled with these admonitions, but I think one of the most powerful ones is in Psalm 82. That first verse says, God resides among the nations. And then he asks this very penetrating question, how long will you let these injustices continue? And then he tells us what to do. Defend the cause of the weak and fatherless. Maintain the rights of the poor and oppressed. Rescue the weak and needy. Deliver them from the hand of the wicked. Now, all the signature programs that we've talked about are right there in that, just in that psalm alone. But the themes are continually through Scripture. When we look at the over 1 billion people who live on less than $1 a day, they have not even had the opportunity to work.
My name is Joseph Kamal. I'm 41 years old.
My name is Fata Zoha. My name is Ramatu Bangura. I'm 32 years old.
They wish they could do something, but have had no opportunity to even have enough money to put together to start any kind of a business.
It's just that no one has trusted them before because they're so poor or because they're female in a male-dominated society.
Giving alms to the poor, that's not the answer. The answer is creating new wealth.
So microfinance comes along and gives people a loan, not a grant, not just a handout, but a loan that you pay back with interest.
When these clients make their first repayments, then you see what microfinance does.
We turn on the light for them.
You see the sense of hope in their eyes. These are the poorest people in the world, and they're coming back to you, and they're making this repayment.
Then that money is used to help someone else. Your money is just used over and over and over again.
Microfinance ministers to something beyond the financial. It ministers to a certain self-esteem. Someone is trusting them with a loan, even though they have absolutely no capital.
Having grown up in very rural areas in Ghana, I've seen how a little capital, startup capital, can transform a whole family life.
Microfinance helped me to promote my business.
Microfinance has done well for me. Now I have my own house and my children are going to school.
My successful business helped me to build a house and pay for my children.
Microfinance has helped me, my children are going to school.
The one that's leading the way is in Sierra Leone, Hope Micro. Like I said, it has 15,000 clients. That's more clients than all of the commercial banks in Sierra Leone put together. These are huge numbers for a little country that's just pulling itself out of a massively destabilizing civil war.
Just seeing the smiles on these people's face after they've gone 2 or 3 years and they become self-sufficient, it's something you can't buy.
Microfinance give me confidence, more confidence.
Microfinance helped me to build my knowledge. They bring us from poverty to a successful life.
When World Hope goes in, it changes the dynamic of an entire community forever.
Thank you.
As we speak today, there are 14 million AIDS orphans in the world.
When my father got sick, I was too young, and then he passed away. I really didn't know him, and my mother also started getting sick, and finally died.
Those communities that have been hit hard by AIDS, they need help in order to help themselves.
In the Western world, immediately we think, well, let's just build orphanages and put all these children in and that'll take care of them all.
With the millions of orphans, you can't institutionalize them in orphanages. You can't send them out for adoption. Even if you could, removing them from their own natural environment, their own communities, is traumatic.
Children need to be with adults, they need to be with family, they need to be with people, they need to be in a community.
The structure of a community orphan trust is deceptively simple. It really has three parts. One is training people to care for the orphan and vulnerable children.
They are parented in some way by the other adults that are in the community.
A second is developing livelihood support.
It's usually a community garden and some form of animal project, maybe goat rearing, maybe it's a broiler chicken project, and then a vocational project like sewing and tailoring.
Not only produces critically needed income for them, it gives great dignity and a sense of worth.
So they have local ownership, they have interest, they're willing to sacrifice to make the project work.
You know, if you are not able to provide for yourself and your own family, how can you welcome into your household your sister's kids after your sister has passed away? You can't in good conscience. But if you can provide better stability, better quality food for your own family, then you can welcome your sister's kids and they can have, once again, a family.
Third pillar is called home-based care. Pain management, nutrition, how to keep patients comfortable.
So that those in the community who are suffering from HIV, who are dying of AIDS, can actually be cared for.
All of those three major pillars, livelihood, community health, and home-based care, make up what we call a community orphan trust.
Expanding what we've been doing in Zambia into the rest of sub-Saharan Africa will enable us between now and 2012 to raise the capacity on the village level for them to care for over 100,000 orphan and vulnerable children. And in that process, to bring fresh, clean water supplies to over 850,000 people. All of that through the Community Orphan Trust Program. Probably the second largest illegal trade in the world today is trading in humans.
When I was a little girl, I dreamed of going to school and then finding someone to love, to have a family. That was my dream when I was a little girl. Then I was forced to become a prostitute at age 13. My mother died when I was very young. My stepmother was mean. She would beat me and refuse to give me food. So I left my father's house to find work. When I arrived in the big city, a woman said she can give me a job at her house. I was very happy to have some work and a place to stay. But at this woman's house, men would come. If I tried to refuse, the woman would beat me or shock me with electricity. And there was always someone watching, so I could not escape. In this house, I was one of 15 girls. When I was a prostitute, I was required to have 15 men each day. If I did not, I would be beaten and refused food. This is the story of my life. I am now 24, and I am dying from AIDS. One of my greatest fears is that when I die, no one will come to my burial. When I talk to God, I ask Him to give me peace.
The ways that lives are corrupted and destroyed in that process is unspeakable.
If anybody has no hope, it's a child enslaved. It's a girl in bondage in a brothel. What future can she possibly see?
You can sell an ounce of cocaine only once. You can sell a human being over and over and over. And I think that begins to get us at the level of where we begin to understand what this business is of selling human beings.
The average ages are between 5 and 15 years old.
We have an opportunity to prevent a lot of that trade from happening.
And within a short space of time, girls' lives have been transformed such that they can go on to vocational training.
And actually enable them to believe, maybe for the first time, that they too have value.
Trafficking in persons in modern-day slavery goes to the core of what Jesus was all about. There's this beautiful verse, Isaiah 58:6. This is the fast that I choose, to break the yoke of the oppressed and to let the oppressed go free. What is more clear than getting involved in anti-trafficking, anti-slavery, than to break the bonds of the oppressed and to let them go free? It's dictated by the Bible, so we need to do it.
I'm not called to save everybody. I'm called to appropriately, intelligently say yes to those situations and those opportunities that God puts before me.
We are so privileged to be able to do this work and to do it for Christ.
I've worked with many organizations and I feel a real passion for World Hope. There's something special about this organization.
The projects we do bring hope.
We're giving people a sense that they can do something with their life.
If I see situations where I can make a difference, where I have an opportunity to engage them, and I choose to turn away, that does something to me. That does something to my relationship with my kids, with my family, and it does something to my relationship with the Lord.
The scripture says it so well, to whom much has been given, much is required.
For such a nominal amount of money and such a reasonable level of effort, the opportunity that those people know can be completely different.
One of the principles that I live by is one that my mother gave me many years ago, and it's summed up in this little short sentence, and that is, give your life to something that will outlast you.